Why does Hollywood's king of war cinema bow to a bunch of black and white British films? You think Saving Private Ryan is peak warfare? Think again. Steven Spielberg, the man who gave us Schindler's List and Band of Brothers, secretly swears by 10 dusty British classics. He says Americans are war film illiterate without them. Today, I expose his forbidden list. No Hollywood fluff, no propaganda, just 10 brutal, honest British war movies that will destroy your patriotic bubble. Ready to get educated? Let's roll.
Number 10. The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp, 1943.
Let me shatter your timeline first. Most war films scream fight, fight, fight. This one whispers. It whispers a devastating truth about honor. Colonel Blimp is not a comedy despite its silly name. It is a 163-minute English lesson in humility. Spielberg loves this film because it questions everything Americans believe about victory. The story follows one British officer from the Boer War to World War II. He follows rules, he respects enemies, he fights fair. Then the Nazis laugh at his fairness. The film asks a brutal question. Does honor matter if it gets your men killed? No explosions, no heroic last stands. Just a tired old general realizing the world moved past his gentleman's code. Spielberg once said this film taught him that war is not a game of chess. It is a game of broken mirrors. Americans need this lesson because we worship winners. Blimp says winners can be fools too. The final scene will haunt your sleep. You will see war differently after this film. No blood, no glory, just a quiet funeral for chivalry. That is courage.
Number 9. The Guns of Navarone, 1961.
Picture this. 6 men, 1 impossible mission, 2 giant cannons, and a cliff that eats fools. The Guns of Navarone is the grandfather of every heist war movie you love. Spielberg stole from this film openly. The Dirty Dozen? Derivative. Where Eagles Dare? A copycat. Navarone invented the men on a mission formula with British coolness. The plot is simple but vicious. Allied soldiers are trapped on a Greek island. 2 massive German guns block every rescue ship. So you send a team of specialists, a sniper, a demolitions expert, a mountaineer, a reluctant killer, and Gregory Peck playing an officer with whiskey breath and a broken soul. What makes this film unique is its cruelty. Characters die not heroically but stupidly. One slips on wet rock, another freezes mid-shot. The mission keeps failing. Spielberg admires the film's honesty about chaos. No plan survives first contact. The final act is a nail-biting stealth sequence through ventilation shafts. No music, only breathing and sweat. Americans love underdog victories. Navarone delivers one that costs everything. You will cheer, then feel sick. That is the British way. Watch it twice.
Number 8.
Zulu, 1964. 100 British soldiers. 4,000 Zulu warriors. A tiny mission station called Rorke's Drift. Zulu is not a war film. It is a survival horror movie dressed in red coats. Spielberg has called this film a masterclass in tension. The first shot shows a vast African landscape. Then tiny dots appear on the horizon. Those dots keep multiplying. The British soldiers sing Men of Harlech while loading rifles. Their officer is a strict engineer. No melodrama, just math. Each bullet must kill 1 warrior. They have 20,000 bullets. The Zulus have 4,000 hearts. But hearts do not jam. Hearts do not run out of ammo. The film's genius is its respect for both sides. You see Zulu war chants. You see their strategy. They are not villains. They are a nation defending home. The British are not heroes. They are exhausted men who would rather be anywhere else. Spielberg says this film teaches a forbidden American lesson. Courage is not flag-waving. Courage is staying at your post while your friend vomits from fear. The final shot shows Zulu warriors saluting their enemy. No winner, only survivors. Americans need Zulu to understand that sometimes the bravest thing is simply not running away.
Number 7. The Great Escape, 1963.
Do not correct me. I know this film is American money on screen, but the soul? 100% British. The prisoners, the tunnel, the motorcycle jump. The real story is British Commonwealth heroes. Spielberg worships The Great Escape because it celebrates failure beautifully. Let me explain. Most war movies end with victory. This movie ends with 50 men shot in a field. Only 3 escape successfully. And yet you feel triumphant. How? Because the film redefines winning. Winning is digging a tunnel with stolen spoons. Winning is forging documents with a typewriter. Winning is flying a stolen plane straight into barbed wire. The characters never talk about America. They talk about cricket and tea and keeping the Germans busy. Steve McQueen is the American flavor, but the engine is British stubbornness. Richard Attenborough's squadron leader Bartlett is the heart. He builds the tunnel. He calms panicked men. He walks to his death without a blindfold. Spielberg has said the escape committee scenes inspired his own leadership sequences in War of the Worlds. The Great Escape proves a radical idea. You can lose the battle and still win your soul. Americans obsessed with victory need this lesson. Sometimes the best you can do is annoy the enemy until he is exhausted. That is a victory too.
Number 6. Lawrence of Arabia, 1962. $70 million in today's money.
4 hours of desert. A man who loves war too much. Lawrence of Arabia is not a war film. It is a psychological autopsy of a hero. Spielberg has called this film the reason he became a director. Every frame is a painting. Every line of dialogue cuts like a knife. The story follows T.E. Lawrence, a British officer who leads Arab tribes against the Ottoman Empire. He starts as a brilliant, arrogant archaeologist. He ends as a broken masochist who begs for pain. The film has no simple bad guys. The British are manipulative. The Arabs are tribal. Lawrence becomes addicted to killing. There is a famous scene where he extinguishes a match with his fingers. A soldier asks what hurts. Lawrence smiles. The trick is not minding that it hurts. That line destroys the American myth of the clean hero. Spielberg says this film taught him that war is a drug. It makes you feel powerful, then destroys your humanity. Americans need Lawrence of Arabia because we still believe in righteous wars. We think our cause protects our soul. Lawrence proves the soul is the first casualty. The final shot shows him leaving the desert forever. He looks hollow. He won everything and lost himself. Watch this film on the biggest screen possible. Then sit in silence for 10 minutes.
Number 5. Battle of Britain, 1969. No American accents, no last-minute rescue, just Spitfires and Hurricanes fighting over English hedgerows. Battle of Britain is the most honest air combat film ever made. Spielberg used its dogfight sequences as storyboards for his own aerial scenes. The film has a radical structure, no main character. You follow pilots, mechanics, commanders, and terrified civilians. One scene shows a German bomber crew singing a lullaby before crashing into a school. Another scene shows a British pilot drowning because his parachute snags a fence. No music swells, no heroic slow motion, just the ugly math of war. The Battle of Britain was a near defeat for England. The film captures that desperation. Pilots fly 5 missions per day. New recruits last 72 hours. The famous speech by Winston Churchill is whispered, not shouted. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. Spielberg admires this film because it shows collective sacrifice, not individual glory. Americans are raised on lone heroes. The Terminator, John Wick, Captain America. Battle of Britain says a nation survives only when everyone is a nobody doing their tiny job. The ground crew fueling planes under fire, the radar operators drinking cold tea, the women spotting enemy dots through binoculars. This film is an antidote to American ego. You are not special, but together you are unbeatable. Number 4, How I Won the War, 1967. You have never seen a war film like this, I guarantee it. How I Won the War is a surreal, satirical, musical, anti-war film starring John Lennon. Yes, that John Lennon. He plays a soldier named Musketeer Gripweed. The film follows Lieutenant Ernest Goodbody, an absurdly optimistic British officer who believes war is a cricket match. He keeps a scrapbook of victory clippings. He names his rifle, and he leads his men into one ridiculous death trap after another. The film breaks every rule. Characters address the camera. Scenery looks like a theater set. A battle scene turns into a dance number. Soldiers die, then walk away unharmed because the film forgot to kill them properly. Spielberg has mentioned this film as a hidden influence on his darker comedic moments. Why would he recommend it to Americans? Because American war films take themselves so seriously. We need humor to survive trauma. How I Won the War argues that war is too stupid for solemnity. The final scene shows Goodbody alone on a battlefield. He has won nothing. His men are dead. He still smiles and scrapbooks his victory. It is the most depressing comedy ever filmed. Spielberg says this film taught him that sometimes the bravest thing is to laugh at the absurdity. Americans should watch it to detox from heroic propaganda. Warning, you will be confused, then furious, then grateful. Number 3, The Cruel Sea, 1953. There is no hero in the cruel sea. There is only the ocean and the enemy and the cold. This film follows a British corvette escorting convoys across the Atlantic during the Battle of the Atlantic. No glamour, no romance, just gray waves, gray skies, and gray faces. The captain is a former oil company executive. He is not brave. He is tired. He makes a horrific choice midway through the film. He orders depth charges dropped on a suspected U-boat. But the contact is wrong. He sinks a British ship filled with his own countrymen. Survivors float in oil-covered water. He cannot rescue them because another U-boat lurks nearby, so he sails away. That scene is why Spielberg calls this film essential. American war films avoid moral horror. The cruel sea marinates in it. The captain finishes his tour. He gets a medal. He drinks whiskey alone. He never recovers. The film's title has double meaning. The sea is cruel, but men are crueler to themselves. No villainous Nazi officer appears, no epic speeches, just a logbook counting lost tonnage. Spielberg has said this film influenced the Omaha Beach scene in Saving Private Ryan. Not the violence, the exhaustion, the way men stop screaming and just stare at nothing. Americans need the cruel sea to understand that war's worst wound is invisible. It lives behind your eyes forever. Number 2, The Bridge on the River Kwai, 1957. Here is the biggest trick ever played on an audience. You spend 2 hours rooting for a British colonel. He builds a beautiful bridge for his Japanese captors. He fights for pride. He refuses to escape. He wants to show the enemy that British engineering is superior, and you almost agree with him. Almost. Then the final act arrives. British commandos sneak through the jungle to blow up the bridge. The colonel discovers their plan, and he warns the Japanese. He betrays his own country to protect his bridge. Spielberg says this scene changed his understanding of character. A hero can become a villain without changing his morals. The colonel's logic is consistent. He gave his word to finish the bridge. A gentleman keeps his word even to an enemy, but that logic is insane. The film does not tell you what to think. It shows you the explosion. Then the colonel dies. His last word is madness. Was he mad? Or were the commandos mad for blowing up a beautiful structure? The Bridge on the River Kwai is a British war film that questions whether war itself is madness. Americans want clear lines. Good guys wear white hats. This film erases those lines. You will leave angry and thoughtful. That is Spielberg's point. Great art does not comfort you. It disturbs you. Watch it now. Number 1, The Dam Busters, 1955. We end with the film Spielberg references most openly. The Dam Busters is the technical blueprint for Star Wars and Saving Private Ryan. The story is absurdly British. An eccentric scientist invents a bouncing bomb. A dog named Nigger is the squadron mascot. The pilots practice skipping bombs across water like stones. And the mission? Destroy 3 German dams using impossible physics. The first half of the film is a classroom lecture. Seriously, you watch men solve equations. You see engineers debate bomb spin rates. You watch pilots crash into lakes repeatedly. No action, just obsession. Then the second half happens. The planes take off at dusk. They fly 50 feet above German reservoirs. Searchlights pierce the dark. Flak bursts around wings. And one by one, the bombs find their mark. The destruction footage is real. The filmmakers actually blew up dams for the climax. Spielberg has admitted he stole the trench run sequence from this film. The low-altitude flying, the precise targeting, the radio chatter, even the silence before the explosion. But why should Americans watch a film with a dog named an offensive slur? Because the Dam Busters represents the best and worst of Britain. The best is ingenuity under pressure. The worst is casual cruelty masked as tradition. Spielberg says you cannot understand modern war cinema without this film. It is the grandfather of every precision strike in movie history. Watch it. Cringe at the dog's name. Then admire the impossible courage. That tension between admiration and disgust, that is the British war film experience. Now go watch all 10. Did Spielberg really say these 10 films? Honestly, he never made an official list, but he has praised every single movie on this screen. And that is better than a list. That is a curriculum. Like, comment, and subscribe for more film secrets exposed.